Hi, I'm bigcal, and welcome to my world. So, this previous Sunday, the 5th of February, was the video game market in Doncaster. They do these huge video game markets a few times a year, different locations. Obviously, I go to one in Doncaster because it's near where I live. The last time I went to this was December of 2021. Because the next one was then going to be in February, and I thought that's too close, I'll wait, because at that time they were doing 3 a year, aside from when COVID was huge, obviously. So 3 a year, I thought, oh, I'll go to the one the next December, then it'll be a full year, and I'll save up some money, yeah, it'd be great. Didn't do any more that year, so yeah, finally came back in February, got my early bird ticket, so getting an hour earlier than most people. They have a limited amount of them. You pay a whole £1 extra to get in early, get a good look around and things like that. Had a ton of money with me, more than I've probably ever taken to one of these before, expecting to buy a whole bunch of stuff. Spent £55, bought 4 games. Yeah, I was a little disappointed, especially after waiting over a year to go back to this. The selection, I think I said it last time I went, the selection just wasn't as good. This time though, it was a case of almost 90%, I would say, of the games on sale were PS2 games, which is great if you're a big PS2 collector. I own around 170 PS2 games, and honestly, I rarely buy PS2 games now unless they are exclusives to that system. Pretty much just that, yeah. When it comes to multi-platform, I will prefer to buy on the Xbox or the GameCube for that generation. Everything else, I've got 170 games. I've got the majority of the well-known titles that I actually want. It's now, like I said, just exclusives that I'm after, so didn't really care about PS2 games. I went in specifically looking for one game title, and I said to myself, if I see this for less than £120, which is the average price for it at the moment, I'm going to buy it. And every time I've been to these video game markets in Doncaster, I've always seen multiple copies of it for sale. Not a single one this time. I was hoping to finally get Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door on GameCube. Didn't see a single copy. I did have a list of 10 things that I wanted to look for 10 different consoles. I managed to get sort of 2 titles off that list. I'll get into the sort of part in a minute anyway. So yeah, I was disappointed by the selection and not being able to get that one big expensive title, but I got 4 games and I'm happy with the 4 games I got. They're good games, I like them. Yeah, so let's just get started, shall we, with, for the PlayStation 1, Loaded. Price still on there, £13. Yep, I actually saw this for £35 from another seller. It was just a case of, it wasn't platinum version, it was one of those double case versions. It's like, why would I pay so much more when I could just get this version? Same thing. Yeah, so I got Reloaded last year, I think. I can't remember exactly where I got that from, but yeah, that was a sequel to this. Sort of a top-down shooter, kind of like what's it called? I can't remember now. Super Smash TV. Yeah, similar to that. You go around different rooms, shooting things, collecting key cards to get through other doors and things. Yeah, it's just a nice, fun explosion fest game. So I'm very happy with that. Tons of different characters to choose from, all with their own different weapons and things. Yeah, so that's a nice blast. Did have a bit of trouble actually managing to play it, to test it out and record game footage, as I thought, I'll just rip the game from the disc and put it on my PS1 Classic, like I've done with the rest of my PS1 collection. It would load up, and then as soon as the game loaded, the controller would stop working. It didn't matter what controller I was using with the PS1 Classic, the one that came with it. I was using a USB wireless dongle thing to use a PS4 controller. Nothing. So, okay. I thought, right, I've got my PS2 out. I was testing some discs that you'll see in another pickups video. I was testing out some PS2 games on the hard drive on there. I thought, okay, I'll try this in the PS2. No, PS2 just doesn't play CD games anymore, so that was a pain. So I eventually had to drag out the PS3 so I could play it in decent quality. 'Cause my original PS1 I can only currently connect with composite cables, so yeah. Loaded, yeah, fun game. Glad to finally have it, add it to the collection. Right, so this was a game that was sort of on the list that I sort of got. I wanted the PS1 original version. So a couple of copies, one at a good price I would have bought, but it didn't have the manual. One that was complete, but was way too expensive. And then it turns out, someone that I know and talked to online actually got the game for the price that I wanted, complete in box. I missed it, he bought it, hate him, screw you. So I decided to pick up the PSP version, and that is Ape Escape P. Yeah, I don't know why it's called Ape Escape P. It's something else outside of Europe, but yeah, we got it as Ape Escape P, and it's basically Ape Escape Portable. The first Ape Escape on the PSP, which might sound a little bit weird for people because the PSP only has one thumbstick, and Ape Escape, the original, was basically designed for the brand new analog DualShock controllers. But yeah, I played it for a little bit, and I found it worked well without, the second, analog stick. Yeah, you just use face buttons to attack and things, and use different weapons, and move around with the left one. Everything was fine. I would still prefer to get the original on the PS1, still going to look out for that, but yeah, this was £8. Decided, why not, grab it, complete the box, very nice condition. Yeah, so finally own at least one version of the original Ape Escape. Next, then, we have a Sega Mega Drive game. This one, I just saw it, I thought, you know what, for that price, it's cheaper than I thought it was going to be, because I remember seeing this game and it was really expensive at one point. I don't know why it's gone down in price or anything like that, but yeah. I played this on the Mega Drive Mini, I don't know if it was the first or the second one, during my Mega December videos, check those out if you haven't seen them. And I really enjoyed the game. I hate the first game, love the sequel, and that is ToeJam and Earl in Panic on Funkatron, the sequel to ToeJam and Earl. The first game is some weird, randomly generated garbage where you just wander around these empty, floating islands in the sky, collecting presents. You don't know what any of them do. Slowly walking away from enemies that can't do anything to you if you just slowly walk away from them, and occasionally finding a piece of your ship and then going in a lift that takes you up to the next floor. It makes no sense, it's boring as hell, it's terrible. The sequel, they decided to make it a 2D platformer, and it's fun as hell. Basically, you go back to Funkatron after the end of the first game, but some humans clung onto your ship and now they're invading Funkatron, and it's your job to capture them. So you have to go around the levels, you've got a little radar, try and figure out where they are. Sometimes they'll just be wandering about, you have to attack them. After 3 hits or something, they end up in a little jar and you collect them, and that's that. Sometimes you might have to shake a tree to get to them, or you might have to find some hidden platforms to jump up high and collect them, things like that. Just a really fun game, tons of charm. Yeah, this came complete in box as well, and very happy with that. Like I said, really enjoyed it on the Mega Drive Mini, 1 or 2, whichever one it came on, so I thought, you know what, I'll buy that physical. And lastly, another game that was on the list of 10 games that I wanted to pick up. It's one of my favourite games. Maybe top 25 games of all time. I know it doesn't seem like it's that good if it's only in the top 25, not the top 10 or anything, but there were that many good games. Being in the top 100 of my favourite games still means it's a very good, very fun game. Yeah, I've been playing it for years, various different systems and things. I've had it digitally and whatnot, so I own like 7 or 8 different random copies of it digitally on different things, collections and whatnot. Now, finally own a physical copy, that is Streets of Rage 2, the best Streets of Rage game. Streets of Rage 4, very good, but yeah, Streets of Rage 2, finally picked this up. Nice, complete in box as well. Very nice condition. Yep. I saw multiple versions of this, just kept a mental note of the prices of them all, went back and got it for the best price I could. So very happy to have Streets of Rage, go around beating people up, letting out your rage on the streets. So yeah, those were my 4 pickups from the massive video game market. I think the last time I went I only got 4 as well, or something like that, yeah. But I got some good stuff, I think, yep. Streets of Rage 2, absolute classic. ToeJam and Earl in Panic on Funkatron. A divisive title. A lot of people really liked the first game, were disappointed when they changed it up for the sequel. I much prefer the sequel. Ape Escape P, yeah, it's not the PS1 version, but it's still a decent version, still very playable despite not having the second analog stick. It was nice and cheap as well, and Loaded, just to add to my collection and to have the first game in the series. So that's what I picked up at the video game market in Doncaster. Let me know down in the comments below what you thought of my pickups, let me know if you went and what you picked up, and I'll see you again next time.